Ethan's silent brilliance at Maplewood Elementary, in the heart of Miss Sophie's special classroom, sat Ethan, a bright-eyed boy in a wheelchair. He was nonverbal, but his mind spoke louder than words ever could. He had autism, and though he couldn't express himself the way others did, numbers were his language. His classmates James, who had ADHD and was always on the move, Maya, who found comfort in quiet spaces, and Leo, who needed structure, were all learning together in their own ways. One day, Miss Sophie rolled out a big interactive math game. She placed a giant number board on the floor with puzzles, blocks, and a digital tablet. "Today," she announced, "we're going to solve problems like detectives." "The math challenge begins." James bounced in his seat. "Can I go first?" "Of course. But let's see if we can solve these together," Miss Sophie said, looking around the room. She turned to Ethan and smiled. "Ethan, would you like to pick the first number?" Ethan's fingers hovered over the tablet attached to his wheelchair. He tapped 7. "Great choice," Miss Sophie encouraged. "Now, let's solve. 7, 5. James started counting on his fingers. Leo looked at the puzzle pieces, trying to arrange them into the right answer. Ethan, however, already knew. He tapped 12 on his tablet before anyone else had finished. Maya's eyes widened. "He's fast," she whispered. Miss Sophie nodded. "That's because Ethan thinks in patterns like a math magician. Numbers without words." As the game continued, the problems got harder. This time, the class had to solve 3, 2, 6. Leo was still placing puzzle pieces together when Ethan quickly used his eye-tracking device to select the correct answer, 18. James looked at Miss Sophie. "How does he do that so fast?" "Ethan sees numbers in ways we don't," Miss Sophie explained. "Just like how you love movement and Maya loves soft textures, Ethan's brain loves numbers. We all have our own superpowers." Ethan grinned, flapping his hands excitedly. A moment of victory. For the final challenge, Miss Sophie wrote a tricky equation on the board. 8 4, 2. James fidgeted. "Too hard." Maya looked uncertain. Leo slowly started writing out the steps. But Ethan? He had already found the answer. He tapped 24 on his tablet and looked up at Miss Sophie with a sparkle in his eyes. Miss Sophie beamed. "That's exactly right." The whole class clapped. James high-fived Ethan's shoulder, and Maya gave him a thumbs up. Leo, who usually didn't talk much, finally said, "Ethan's a genius." Ethan didn't say a word, but his huge smile said it all. In Miss Sophie's classroom, every child had a way to shine. And that day, Ethan showed that words weren't the only way to be heard sometimes. Numbers spoke louder.